What's going on, guys? Coach Bronson here, the No Carb Athlete, and we're doing a week 7 update. We're going to talk about how I gained fat, even though I wasn't eating a lot of carbs, pretty much no carbs. All right. Before we do that, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click on the bell so you're notified every time a new video comes out. And if there's any information in here that impacts you or enlightens you, please share it with somebody else so that we can help educate more people about what it takes to really have a good quality of life. Okay. So it's the 7th week of me working on trying to be no carb. Okay. No added carbs. The only carbs I get are what comes in my eggs. And if I do cheese, that's pretty much it. And doing my normal exercise routine, fitness routine, trying to gain mass, get more muscle. The goal is 100 pounds of skeletal muscle mass and maintaining around 10% body fat. Okay, so I started this process at around 10%. I want to finish at around 10% or less, right? I could probably do less if I really want to. We're going to talk about how I manage the body fat in this video. Okay, so that's the goal. So we want to see if we can do lean gains, gain muscle, lose fat, maintain fat, while also not eating carbs. Is it possible? Can it happen? Can it be done? Let's see what happens. Okay, so this week, we do my scans. I did my scan this morning, and I am actually heavier this week. I've been pretty much maintaining most of my body weight has been maintaining. If you remember last week, we were talking about trying to find my maximum energy threshold. Okay, so the difference in total calories, I don't do total calories. I like to break my calories up into functional calories and fuel calories. So functional calories is protein. I don't really consider that a fuel because your body doesn't use it unless it absolutely has to from a fuel perspective. So fat and carbs are fuels. It is possible to manage your body composition by the intake of fat and carbs. So calories in, calories out does work, but it only works when you're considering fats and carbs. Okay, those are your fuel calories that matter when it comes to managing the work that you do, the fuel that you take, and overconsumption, deficit, surplus, all those things. Okay, just forget about protein for now. Okay, so doing that, so we know that I'm no carb, I'm zero carb, so I don't add any carbs to anything that I eat. So mostly when I get my carbs, it's from eggs or cheese. When I do that. This week, I did not have a lot of eggs. I did a lot of egg whites, which doesn't have any carbs in it. And because I had a few days where I did do some carbs because I had some keto break. There's a little bit there. And my carbs were still about average to lower on the low end of what I do on a normal day, on a normal week, right? So my average carbs intake this week was 4.9. So about 5 grams of carbs per day on average. My protein was lower than last week. Last week I was at 195. This week I'm at 169.5, so 170. Still above my lean mass. My lean mass is about 165. So I'm still at a 1-to-1 ratio essentially with my lean mass, which is where I recommend everybody be at a minimum. Okay, at a minimum. All right. My fat, I went up. So last week I was at 195 average grams of fat. This week I was at 202 average grams of fat. Okay. Now, I increased my grams by 7 grams, okay, a day on average. All right. And that is, hold on, I got to do some math because I'm really not that good at math. Sometimes 7, right? So that's an additional, 60 some grams, 60 some calories of fuel per day. That little bit extra, okay? And I'll be honest with you, it started probably last week. I started seeing an increase in body fat towards the end of last week. So between 195 and above is what I'm going to say is where I'm seeing my maximum energy threshold. Okay. Because I gained about 2 pounds of fat this week. Okay. So starting towards the end of last week through this week to scanning today, I'm 2 pounds heavier. My overall body weight is up. I also gained muscle, right? So we know that the protein that I'm getting is still adequate. The workouts that I'm doing is still adequate. I gained some muscle, but I did gain body fat. So the reason that happened is because I ate more fat. I had a lot more fat this week than I normally do. Okay. I'm going to go next week just to verify this. Let's just call this a theory. I don't think it's a theory. I ate more fat and I gained fat. It's what happens, okay? I've been slowly pushing up, right? We started this process 7 weeks ago. I was at 125 grams of fat, 135 grams of fat per day. We've gone up to over 200 grams of fat, and now I'm seeing body fat gain. So we know at some point, somewhere in there, I started eating more fat than my body could utilize, and so it started storing it. That is the process. That is the definition of maximum energy threshold. Okay. So we're there. I'm right there. So 200 grams of fat a day is pretty much my limit. I got to cut it back down if I want to maintain my body fat. Okay. At 10%. So I'm still, even though I gained 2 pounds of fat because I've been so low and going down, I'm still at an overall 0.4% body fat reduction from when I started this process 7 weeks ago. Okay, so I was low, I went down, I got really low, and then even though I've gone up, I'm still from the start to now, I'm still right where I need to be. Right, I'm still proving the theory that it's possible to build muscle and maintain or lose body fat at the same time. Okay, still there, on track. Right, I've just gone up in the last week after doing in the last 2 weeks after doing a test to see how much I could have. Now I know where my limit is. As long as I stay under that for as long as I need to, I should be able to maintain my body fat percentage at where I want it to be. If I can stay, I'm probably going to shoot for, here's what we'll do. Next week, I'll go to 185 as my target and see if I maintain or lose. So we know 195 to 200 plus, I started gaining. So we're going to cut it down to 185 next week. And my goal for fat macros next week will be averaging 185 grams. And we'll see if I start losing again or I maintain. Okay. So that will be the goal. So now we're going to go down, see how much we can lose. Because here's the deal. Once you know what your maximum energy threshold is, you don't have to go to the lowest possible limit, right? So if my maximum energy threshold is 195, I don't need to go to 50 to lose body fat. I should be able to go to 190, 185, right? Because it's about sustaining what your body needs, not just trying to cut as much as possible. It's not always a good idea to try to go as low as possible and lose as fast as possible. The changes that happen in your body need to happen over time. The more drastic the changes, the more potential negative effects you can have. So I don't want to go from 195 to 75 grams of fat and kill out and knock off 125 grams of fat out of my diet overnight. Okay. I want to work my way down until I find something that's comfortable that I can maintain, still enjoy my food, still feel full, still feel like I'm getting the energy and all the things I need out of what I'm eating. And then also see a reduction of body fat. It doesn't have to be drastic, guys. You don't have to drop to the lowest. Okay. It's not good for you in many cases to drop as low as possible overnight. Okay. Something to keep in mind. But that's pretty much it, guys. So the difference between total calories and looking at things as functional calories versus fuel calories. Another note I want you to think about. Last week, we talked about total daily energy expenditure and gaining muscle while in a deficit. Okay. We talked about gaining muscle in a deficit. I'm in a total calories deficit, but I'm still gaining muscle. Okay. Theoretically, that's not possible. You have to be in a surplus to build muscle. Bullcrap. Okay. How about this one? Okay. Another demonstration of how total calories doesn't mean squat. Okay. I'm in a deficit. I'm in a calorie deficit. I'm eating 60 less calories per day in total. Last week, I averaged 2578 total calories. Okay. That was about a 500 calorie deficit, and I gained muscle. Okay. This week, I averaged 2515 calories. So, okay, 60 calories. Yeah. 60 calories less on average this week. And I gained fat. And I gained muscle. Okay. How did I gain fat in a deficit? Total calories. If you look at total calories, I should have lost weight this week. I gained 2 pounds. How does that happen? Okay. Here's how it happens. Total calories means squat. I overate fuel. I overconsumed fuel. I ate more fuel than I spent So I gained fat. That's as simple as it is, guys. It's as simple as it is. Protein doesn't really matter. I overate fat, so I got fat. It's not just carbs. It's not just fuel. It's fat. It's overconsumption of any fuel. Okay. So I'm not counting protein. Okay. Hope that makes sense, guys. So it's possible to gain muscle in a deficit. It's possible to gain fat in a deficit as well. So all you people out there who are saying, well, I'm not eating that much and I'm still gaining fat. What are you eating? Are you eating all protein? Are you eating all fat? If you're going keto and you're stuffing your face in fat bombs, okay, and keto treats or whatever it is that are high in fat, even if your total calories are less and you're in a deficit, if most of what you're eating is fuel, you still have to burn it off. Okay. This is one of the reasons why we prioritize protein, because you can get calories, you get more nutrients, it's more nutrient dense, your body can do more with it. If you prioritize in the protein and stop stuffing your face full of fat, you're going to see a change in your body composition, in your body's ability to do things, in your metabolic health, in your strength, in your energy, all the things. Okay. That's why this all works this way. Okay. So that's it. We'll see you next week. And hopefully, if this theory actually works, then next week my body fat percentage will be back down again, and we'll see my muscle going up again. I'm almost halfway there, guys. 95 pounds of skeletal muscle as of this week, so I've only got 5 pounds to go.